You know what? It feels really clean in here today. What happened? Yeah, that's funny. I usually have all my all the icons over here, but I've got another monitor connected, so they're not showing up, which is kind of nice. We don't have to constantly be aware of the time and everything, right? Yeah, you're right. Look at that. Well, you know what? They're probably going to pop back in right midway through this podcast. By the way, how have you checked the numbers on our podcast? I mean, we've been doing this now, almost a week and a half, and we got to be up into like the millions now, right? No. In fact, I can't even really check the numbers. iTunes doesn't have something that's like number of people listened. It's kind of crazy. That is weird. Well, what do you think? Have you noticed like a big bump in sales at CartoonSmart.com? Because we gotta be kind of, even though we sort of ramble a little bit, and at times this could be simply the audio podcast. Even it doesn't even have to be video. Have you noticed like this giant, just kind of like Everest style peak in sales? No. Well, that's a shame. I would imagine some sort of uptick. What, right? I'd say it's anywhere between, maybe we've captured 1 and -1 people. We might have even lost people because of this podcast. No, you just stop joking around, man. There's got to be people out there that are like, I know Cleavon's not going to be on the premium tutorials, but I like his style, and maybe I just want to support the rest of the site. Why did that show up over there? Now all the junk is coming in from PayPal and everything. Anyway, all right, so what are we going to do today? We're going to make another Sprite Kit. We always do this. We always just it's like we're going to start off big. We make an application that's going to be a Sprite Kit game, and then we call it something stupid, and it's Swift and Sprite Kit. Actually, I don't think we really have even done that often. Probably not enough. Okay, well, if they're here to listen about Sprite Kit, they probably know how to make a Sprite Kit project. So you're saying now we're just going to do some silly example again and show people that Cleavon learned from you, and he kind of knows a little bit. Well, let me get rid of the garbage again. Boom. There it goes. How about, can we at least get something in the scene that we can play with? Like, I like the video from a couple back where we were just showing people actions and stuff like that. Maybe what we could do is like a mix of bringing something into the scene and then using the code for the action instead of doing it all over here in the scene editor, right? That's fine with me. I'm just going to let you kind of take control, and let's do it. Okay. Putting Cleavon to the test. Okay, it's, let's see. I gotta drop something into the assets folder. I'm gonna grab some of that nice artwork that subscribers get. If you subscribe to the site, you get this zombie over here. It looks like the vice principal at my elementary school. He said, Cleavon, stick it out, man. Don't quit. All right, so now that I got him in the assets folder, it's okay. He's big. I just dropped him into the 1x slot. Don't worry about it. He's so big we can scale him down a little bit, and that'll accommodate him being into 1x, not the 2x for the retina display. Watch what happens. So I drop out the color sprite over here, and then I got texture, and there's attacking, right? And look how big that is. So that's unnecessarily big because he's obviously way bigger than the whole scene. So I'm just going to shrink him on down. Now he's probably like 3x because he's got so much artwork loaded into him, into this tiny area, and the phone knows that. All right, so one thing we would want to do is we don't want to call him SKSprite. No, we're going to call this guy Zombie. You always want to give him a name that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like my car, I call Bucket. There was a modifier in the beginning, but I I can't say the first part, so I'll just call it bucket for you guys. And then we don't need to do any of the physics this time around, and we don't even need to get into the custom classing. That would be a fun lesson though, because that's kind of a nice feature. Oh, you know what? If we are just tinkering though, we're not really just tinkering. You could just kind of stick to what we were going to talk about. Well, I'm going to turn the lights on this guy. Watch this. So see, I dragged out this light, right? And the lighting mask is over here at 1. Now watch what happens if I come back to this guy and I change his lighting mask to 1 as well. Boom. Suddenly we got a light in the scene. And that's just good ambiance, because we could, he could kind of move around, right? So let's say we make him move somewhere or scale up and down. That light's going to kind of show something of an effect, right? So there it is. All right, that's good enough. And you can mess around with all sorts of stuff over here. We could even omit things too, but we'll hold off on that. All right, you just want to stick to it, huh? Okay, so back over here in our game scene, what we need to do is make it so that we can identify this guy somehow. So we're going to say var zombie SKSprite node. And just there's a couple of ways you could do this. You could put a little question mark on here. It's like, are we going to ever use them? Maybe, I don't know. But we kind of know that we are going to use them. So let's just come over here, right? SKSprite node. So we sort of just initialize it with nothing going on. You know, it's like, I know a lot of people like that. They're just kind of there, but they're not there. They are like zombies, actually, when I think about it. They're just, something's not going on until they got to eat or they got to sleep, and they can handle that. But then when we move on down to the did move to view statement, here what we're going to do is we're going to say if, let, and then I like to put like some in front of things. I'll just say it's some zombie, you know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Some zombie, SKSprite node. This is going to equal I feel like I'm moving at a good clip now. Oh, you know what? Actually, we got to iterate through the scene first. Watch this. I left out one thing. So we're going to say for node in self. I had my coffee this morning. That's part of it. Self dot in self dot children. So it's going to look at all the children in the scene. Then we get to keep right over here, and it's going to say equals node as SKSprite node, right? And see, now there's a couple things that we could consider here. First off, that's just making every single sprite node. Well, basically, it's testing to see if any node in the scene is this SK's sprite node type right here. So our light would have been left out of that because this would have failed. It's going to fail for the light, so it would get completely skipped over. And then inside of here, what we could do is we could say if some zombie dot name, right? So we could test for the name over here. So we could say equals doggone it, zombie, right? Then we've kind of further identified the one that we are concerned about. And then I could say zombie equals some zombie, right? And then we're all pretty much good to go here. Yeah, you could do that. Another thing you could do is you could, this might be a little bit more processor intensive. You don't have much going on in your scene, so it's not a big deal. But you could kind of flip this around. You could take this statement and you could put it up here first. So instead you could say if node.name. That's probably an easier thing for the compiler to go through, I would imagine. I don't know that for sure. Well, then why are you even talking about it if you don't know it for sure? I'm just giving you another example of what you could do. So you could say if node.name equals zombie, and then you could say, do this little test over here, if let some zombie, node as whatever. Yeah, all right. But then furthermore, you could maybe get away with just doing none of this and saying, you could take your original line. You were actually kind of off to a good start, and then you backed away from it. What? I've never backed down from anything. Not code, not bouncers or nothing. All right. So what are you saying? I could go if let some zombie SKSprite node, and then I know what you're getting at here. You could say self dot child node with name. So we just kind of skip on past all that other stuff. So we don't have to reiterate through everything in the scene. That's right. Okay, so that both of these are going to work. They're both equally acceptable, right? What's this one saying? Oh, we got to go as. You still got to make sure that it's an SK Sprite node, right? Otherwise, this part, zombie equals some zombie, is going to fail. So, okay, so can we test it out? Yeah, why don't you just comment out here? Let's comment out that your kind of longer way of doing it. But it is a good code example. People get to see a little bit more, and they can see how they can test. Since you do have a light in there, you know. So let's do this. Let's make zombie dot position. So we know that he's kind of like right there in the I almost sounded like you for a second there, Cleavon. Did you catch that? I did catch that. And you know what's fun? Here, we'll just continue typing this out, but I'll explain something to you. Which makes 0.0, or actually, I'm sorry. You got distracted. You could do CG point make, and that you put in there 0.00 comma 0, and that's going to put him at the center 0 point in the scene. But there's actually a shorthand way of doing this, where you just write as CG point 0. So that's going to move him, and at least when we run this, hopefully we don't get the WSOD, the white screen of death. We'll see that he's changed positions based on where he's at. Right, so we know that he's not at 0, 0. There's his position, X and Y, right? And actually what will happen is a little cool because he's going to move away from that light when this runs up. I don't remember putting these apps on my phone. Oh, this is the simulator, right? Oh, so yeah, I was going to explain something. You know, if I kind of come down a little bit and you maybe hillbilly it up, ratchet it up a notch, we meet right in the middle, sound wise, right? Have you noticed that? So I would have to go like maybe fancy it up a little bit and talk a bit more like Woody Harrelson. And if you did that too, you kind of didn't sound like such a loser, we would pretty much have the same voice. All right, well, I don't know what happened here. What happened? This time we got the gray screen of death. Is it because we moved this guy around? Maybe we were kind of too accurate in this. Let's just see what happens if we... maybe we shouldn't have been moving him at all. I'd imagine we would have seen just this tiny corner of the guy. Okay, well... I mean, yeah, you know what's happening here? We're kind of like... it's sort of like trying to nail something in with a screwdriver. It's just we're hitting it on the head, but with the wrong head. So here's the issue: we got this whole scene set up for an iPad. We should be testing on an iPad. There it is. So if we had that at 0, 0 still, then what's going to happen is we would see him. He was there, but he wasn't in a sense. How many times do you try to nail something in with a screwdriver? Just last night, putting up a camera so I can watch my baby sleep. I got a baby pig that I want to make sure doesn't get, too. I don't want him to get suffocating the bumpers and stuff like that. So I keep the monitor on him pointed down. I had to raise it up because he's getting so big. And well, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Now the issue is that we see something stupid was a good name for this. Now the issue is that we stupidly didn't. We had the scene set up for landscape mode, but it was wanting to go portrait on us. In fact, I think we still didn't even get it completely right. It's good that you take care of your pigs so much. Where'd you get the security camera from? Somebody threw it out. No way I can afford that. All right, so here we go. Looks like he did. That's the top of his zombie brain over there in the corner. And so that is a good sign that things are working. Well, only 11 minutes. Oh, and you know what? It did come back. All that garbage that is your Dropbox and your Google Drive. Fancy. I bet you even pay for both of them, don't you? I need the space. Yeah, I bet you do. Couldn't just get away with plugging in a floppy disk or something like that to back up. You live too fast for me. I would, if I ran out of space on my laptop, I would try to rent some sort of external floppy drive that I could connect in. The old disc, remember those old discs that would fit in your pocket, and then just back it up. You know, even if it took like 100 of them, just I got the time to sit here and just okay, all right. So now what we're gonna do is, if all that works successfully, we can actually step out of this statement right now. I did kind of want to test that one, but we are getting way off track. All right, so here's what we'll do at this point. We're gonna say let's scale them up. How about that? So we're going to say, we're going to create an action that's going to be called scale up. So we're going to say SKAction. And if you want a little inspiration about your actions, you can go over here into here and write an action. And you can see some of the ones that you could potentially set up in the timeline. We talked about that in another podcast. But these are some of the ones that you could also do. And some of them are sort of similar. They're just kind of preset, like fade out, fade in. So I don't even think they got to fade in, but they would just let you fade to a particular value. So let's say scale up, SKAction is going to equal SKAction dot scale. So here's some of your options here. They do got a lot. Scale by, right? So that's going to be a percentage. Like a percentage off at a supermarket, you know, if they say pay 50% and it's $1, you're going to pay something like 75 cents. And scale to, that's going to say, they say it's $1, but we're going to tax you, so it's going to be $1.08. So they're going to scale up the price to exactly a certain amount. Let's do that. Let's scale it. Let's scale it by. I abandoned that real quick, 2, because we did bring in that artwork that's got the extra pixels. And then we can set in here a duration, so maybe I want to be able to see it, so 8 seconds, right? And then all we'd have to do now is just write, no, not self, zombie dot run action, and we're going to want to specify that it's our scale up. Now, this is our particular name for scale up. We could call that cleave on scale up. Or zombie scale up, something that identifies it with who's going to run on. But let's just try it for now. You know, Cleavon, you go in spurts. I've noticed that. You teach really well for a while, and then, yeah. Well, don't distract me. Don't get me sidetracked. Otherwise, we're going to have to, it's going to be like a 20-minute lesson. So there it is. He did scale out. You want to see something fun, too? You can do zombie. Oh, shucks. No, that's not right. Scale up dot timing mode equals, and then dot, and you'll see all these options over here. So you can go ease out, ease in, out. Not sure what that does. Ease out. I said ease out. Linear, that's just kind of straight flow. You know, there's no easing at all. That's sort of how I drive. Ease out. Let's do that. Well, Cleavon, why don't you show people what happened if you wanted to do, let's say, more than one action in here? Oh, you're talking about like a sequence. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, so watch this. I could actually take just this right here, this part. Somebody interrupted me. Scale down, and then so you would think that we're going to scale by 1, right? Like we're going to go back down to 1, but remember we're going scale by here, so we actually want to put in 0.5, and then let's funky it up just a little bit. So he's going to go slow up and then fast down again, right? So now what we want to do is it's telling us that we're not using this, which does make sense. If you wanted to, you could paste in the scale down over here and make that different easing mode too, ease in. And there's a couple of ways we could do this. We could make a whole other line that's just dedicated to our sequence. Or we could just crowbar in the important stuff right into here. And since I love that word crowbar, let's just go ahead and do that. SKAction. Oh, you know what? I'm typing down at the end of the world, aren't I? I'm going to bring it back up for you all. So SKAction.sequence, you throw that in there, and there's another one you can do in here too. You can try to do them both at once, group them, but that doesn't make any sense because they kind of are. It's like two magnets bumping against each other. Try to do the same thing. That would not work well. All right, so sequence, and then we're going to throw in here scale up and then scale down, right? And that's gonna do it. Although, you know what, we could take this one step further. Let's just look at it. Yeah, just go ahead and show people what's going on now at this point. Okay, I got it. I'm a step ahead of you. So there he goes. All right, he's gonna go up, ease it on out, and then pop. My voice broke there. Back on down again, right? Not that exciting, but so I'll show you how you can repeat this forever. So if you're going to do that, what you have to do is you do have to make that dedicated sequence action. So we'll just say SCQ. I can't spell sequence. SKAction equals, and then we'll just take that meaty, juicy part of the code. Don't laugh at that. That's a real. That's how I describe things. That is the meaty, juicy part. All right. So, and then what we're going to do is make another action that if you smile at me, that you're going to crack me up, and we're going to have to start back at the beginning of this. Okay. So, and then at this point, I think we could just go SKAction repeat action forever. So you're, yeah, there it is. So sort of on your way out, you're getting lazy with all these. You're just like, nah, I don't feel like making a whole action for that. I'm just gonna kind of throw in the meat and the juices on the grill, and we'll be done with it at that point. You know, it's kind of, and that actually is a little bit like grilling right there, because you do all this prep. You got to go to the market and got to get the grills, and then you got to look around for a lighter because you can't find a lighter, and then you get it all. Then you get. Well, I speed clean the grill. I just, what I do is I let the briquettes just kind of clean off what was on there from the night before. I just get it super hot. So, but that's all work that you got to do, because you got to sit there and be like, I hope that's clean. Is it hot enough? And then finally, yeah, when the meat comes out, you just throw it on there real fast, and then you just kind of kick back and listen to tunes. So that is sort of like what's going on with our stuff. And by the way, this with the whole proof of concept here has been working while I was telling you guys about my thoughts on the grill. So, by the way, my grill lost a wheel recently. Did it really? Is that a true thing that you're not just messing around with me? No, that is completely true. And I had to jack it up like it was like if somebody took one of my car wheels. I got it. It's not on a cinder block because that would be way too high up, but it's like on a mini cinder block, like a little chunk of wood that I found. It just keeps it up there, and it's kind of level. It's not perfectly level. Well, Cleavon, I'm gonna shut you down here right before the 20-minute mark. So, if you want to hear some normal CartoonSmart tutorials, where do they go to? I think you just said it. It's over at CartoonSmart.com, right? You did manage to get the .com. I did, actually. Yeah. You know, I've got that website registered for 100 years. They offered my whatever provider for that registering and offered it for 100 years a while back, and I was like, sure, I'll do that. So you're telling me that I'm going to have to do this for 100 years? You know that there's no way I got maybe like 4 good years left and like 2 in some sort of care of another individual. So, but I guess maybe if that's you, I probably can muster up the energy to just talk on the microphone. So, all right. So 100 years it is, minus the 93 that I won't be there. All right. That's it for the CartoonSmart podcast. Is that what we call it? Yeah, I guess so.